Today I want to tell you about the Mera peak. This is the best for me 6,000 meters peak for beginners. And yeah, in today's video, I just want to share, why I think that and what makes this peak so special. So let me start, with the peaks. So with Mera peak. So Mera peak is a 6,000 meter peak in Nepal. It's in fact a 6,476 meter peak. So it's a very high peak and it's considered the highest trekking peak in Nepal. So a trekking peak in Nepal is a peak that you can climb without, let's say, alpinism skills. So these are peaks that are of course very high. You need crampons, you need an ice axe, but you do not need a high knowledge of ropes. You do not need like different high camps. So it's a peak that for someone who is used to go trekking, to say it can be done. Apart from the altitude, so you don't need any special skills. To do that, and this makes it very attractive if you wanna go high in the mountains, but still don't have the kind of technical capabilities. And also, many very often, you in your local mountains. You might climb. You might do ice climbing and a lot of stuff. But if you've never been so high in the mountains, imagine that. The highest you've been is a 4,500, even 5,000 meter peak. And going from that point to 6,500 meters is a lot. And very often, my recommendation is always to, isolate the altitude point from the technical point, which means that, if you're gonna go that high compared to where you've been before, don't try to go for a technical peak which is as technical as what you do in your local mountains, which are maximum maybe 3,000 meters, because you're gonna get in some trouble that you wanna don't wanna get into. So, well, why doing that, right? If you go high in the mountains, so mainly if it's your first time, the best thing that you can do is isolate that factor and purely focus on the height, so that you learn how your body behaves, how your body reacts, and this is very powerful, because if you go to a mountain that is technically hard, then you might do it, right? You might do it, but you will be struggling with two things at the same time. So on the one hand, you will be struggling with the altitude because you are going to struggle, and also you are going to struggle with the technical part. And then at the end, you will be struggling the whole time. You will not enjoy the experience, and you will not learn, which is the most important thing when you do something for the first time. That's why my recommendation is typically the first time you go high to the mountains, try to isolate the height factor, just purely focus on that. And then afterwards, then you can step up and do something that is harder and harder. And then even you can go higher and higher. But it's important, to go step by step, mainly the first time you do it. And Mera Peak is very good for that. So Mera Peak is great for that because it has zero technical difficulty, meaning that it's a very high mountain, but the only thing that you need to care about is walking. So it's just walking. It's very simple. So how it works is, first, you have a approach trek, which is very good for acclimatization. I'll tell you more in a couple of minutes. And then you have, for the actual climb, is 2 days with plus one buffer day that we typically have in case the weather goes bad, or you are not feeling well that day, which can always happen. And it's how it works is from the last tea house, from the last village, so to say. Then you go to a high camp. This high camp is from the village 700 meters elevation. There you already camp in a glacier, and then the next day, then you go to the summit, another 700 meters, and that's it. And then you go back to the tea house, and this is pretty. I mean, and on the way to the summit, of course, I mean, you go on ice, you go with crampons. It's a beautiful one, but you only have a fixed rope right at the end where the slopes might be 20 to 30 degrees, meaning that technically it's extremely it's very simple, so you don't need to take care a lot about how to use your crampons. Even if it's your first time using crampons, I mean, you could do it. I never recommend it. I always recommend to do some training before, of course, but just so that you understand kind of the level. I mean, if it could be your first time, it's possible, I mean, to do it. And you might think, oh, well, we are talking about a very high peak, which is very easy, so this is not attractive for me. Well, and that's completely wrong, okay? I need to tell you. And this peak is really, really beautiful. And in fact, I mean, it has some of the best views that you can have in the Himalayas in the area. I mean, just to name a few of the peaks that you will see from there, you will see Cho, you will see Everest, you will see Lhotse, you will see Makalu, you will see Barunse. So you see, I mean, some of the best 8,000 and 7,000 meter peaks in the world. And this is pretty big. I mean, it's like a perfect viewpoint that, I mean, you have some of the best 360 view area in the world, and it's so nice. I mean, it's so amazing, and you can imagine like a huge glacier full of ice. I mean, with mountains that are pretty, I mean, that are incredible. And this is what Mera Peak is. And this is the peak itself, but the approach trek is also really beautiful. It's in the Everest area, but the good thing is that you go, I mean, to a parallel valley. So you fly to Lukla, which is where the Everest trek base camp starts from. And then from there, I mean, you go to the Hinku Valley, which is a parallel valley. And this valley is really beautiful. I mean, it's much more isolated, much more authentic, much more unique, because there are not many people, I mean, who go there. I mean, through this valley, you just go to the Mera Peak and some harder mountains. That's it. I mean, that's the only place you go to, which means that there are not that many people, and the people you will find there are different, right? So, I mean, here you will find mountaineers, and you will find people who want to climb a 6,000. There's not people who just want to go and take a couple of pictures and that's it, right? I mean, these are people who want to climb a 6,000, which are, I mean, it's completely different, right? So, also from a cultural perspective. The trek is very good for acclimatization as well, because, I mean, you never like do a lot of elevation in the same day, which is really important. Typically for acclimatization, one of the most important things is to do not go too high too fast, because you will have issues with that. And this trek, I mean, it's very good for that, because every day you do 300, 400, 500 max, I mean, meters of elevation, meaning that your body has time to get used to it. And also at the same time, there are a couple of days where you climb high but you sleep low, which is also very important. Also for the body to kind of get under that stress that is needed, but then you sleep low, which allows you to recover. For example, I mean, you climb a high pass, I mean, which is around 5,000 meters, but then you go down and you sleep much lower. Then we also have an acclimatization day where you climb to a lake up to 5,200. But then, I mean, you sleep 500 meters below. I mean, and this is extremely important for your body to get used to the height. And in addition, for the whole trek, what is very good is that, I mean, you are sleeping in tea houses the whole time, meaning that you sleep very well, you eat very well, and when you get to the summit push, I mean, you are ready. I mean, you are recovered, and then you are kind of ready to go with full gas and just do your work, which is going up to the mountain. And for all these reasons, I always recommend, Mera Peak as your first 6,000 meter peak. It's very high, some of the highest 6,000 meters that you can do. The trek is beautiful, the views are beautiful, and technically you don't need to care about it. I mean, Nepal is a beautiful country. So with all these ingredients, then where else could you go, right? So that's why this makes Mera Peak the best 6,000 meter peaks for beginners. Do you want to climb Mera Peak with us, or is there any other 6,000 meter peak that you would like to climb? Let us know in the comments.